Hey friends, it's Joe from DadBod. It's cold and wet in Tokyo today, like really nasty, ugly day to run. So let me put you on my head and we'll just get to work. Rip the band-aid off. Today is a recovery day, so yay. It's like 5:45 in the morning. It's always a pleasant time to start a run, right? Alright, let me get you on your perch. Let me get YouTube pulled up, my gloves back on. River's running high today, which is fun. Alright. But Tokyo is beautiful in the rain, for sure. Whew! Risk. Skip survey. Show me the run. Get our gloves on. Get our gloves on. You know, it's one of those things where you can't wait for perfect conditions to get better. There are days when it's hot, there are days when it's cold, days when it snows, rains, there are days where you didn't get as much sleep as you wanted, days when you didn't eat the right way, days even when you might be a little bit sick. Don't run when you're sick, but there's always going to be days. Here we go. Got my gloves on. And you still gotta show up for yourself despite circumstance and do the best you can do. And I try not to have a toxic mindset about stuff like that. You know, like, circumstance is still a factor. It's still important. We still gotta work with it. But it's not the only factor. Okay? And there are times when we do need to take pause and acknowledge that things outside our control do impact us and our outcomes concerning health and wellness. But we also have to take pause and recognize that there are things we can do amidst our circumstances to get more control over the situation and to have a better outcome. And we want to take as much action as we can reasonably, while still acknowledging and respecting circumstance. So today, circumstance is cold, it's wet, and that sucks. But there are some things I have done. I brought a bag from my phone so that I could still chat online, which is a mutual encouragement to me and to you. Because even if it's not cold and raining for you, and even if you're not running right now, knowing that your friend from across the world is out here in the wet ugliness of this morning run should hopefully spur you on in your journey. And I could derive just the tiniest bit of encouragement from that, knowing my suffering, you know. But I also know at the end of a recovery run, we're gonna feel great. Yeah, it's part of the process. Oops. It's just one of those things we gotta do for ourselves. Yeah, gotta keep showing up every single day. Sunshine, rain, snow, typhoon. Yes, I have run in a typhoon, which is a Japanese hurricane, in case you're curious. It just means that it swirls in the opposite direction, which is kind of fun. But yeah, you just gotta keep showing up for yourself, you know? Trick yourself into doing all the right things and see what happens. But there are days. I remember this one day I woke up. It was actually while we were recording the DadBod half marathon journey, and the kids, Felicia and I, just got railed. It was COVID. We didn't know it was COVID at the time, but it definitely felt a little different than the flu, you know. And I remember waking up thinking like, oh man, I gotta go run 5 miles. And I was also like, oh man, something doesn't feel right. And then I looked outside and it was like this. It was wet, except it was raining pretty hard. And I had done that before, but I looked at the condition of my body from a health perspective. I looked at the weather outside. I thought about the sick kids and wife I had to take care of. And I grabbed my GoPro. It was like, sat on my patio. And it was like, hey guys, I'm sick. This one's on you. And I don't know what's wrong with me, but I'm gonna go to the doctor. One of those moments where you have to respect circumstances. Because I looked at the risk factors and I was like, yes, I can check my box and push my body through illness. But who am I supposed to take care of on the back end? And who's gonna take care of me if I make this thing way worse? You know? Or I can respect my body, create space for recovery, modify the workouts. So for the instance, the next morning was a lift day. All I did was stretch, and then I did 1 set lightweight just to move through the movements. I'm gonna walk. So it's one of those things where, like, I love Goggins. Goggins is fantastic. I respect him and others that have that drive and that push. I think for a lot of people it's very helpful. I think for some people in my demographic it can be harmful in 2 different ways. I mean, the first way is like making people feel like, because we all tend towards comparison, right? So you compare yourself with someone like him and then you're like, oh well, I'll never be good at anything. So the comparison can lead to immediate paralysis, even though that's not any of his intentions with the content he makes. The other issue though is if you try to emulate what he's done without building up the ability at a natural pace, then you do go for a run when you have COVID and it's raining, and then your body shuts down in a bad way. Well, I mean, Goggins has worked through some pretty crazy shutdowns of his health, and still kept pushing. Or eventually his knee had some issues. His meniscus is, yeah, it stayed hard, right? It's so hard, it was like breaking scalpels and stuff. But I try to glean from his mindset, which is why I'm out here in the cold, in the rain, but also like in other moments having that discretion. And I think we get too black or white with our fitness journey instead of respecting the process and the time it takes. So for instance, like, could I be pushing a jog right now? Absolutely, I could, but that's not the goal of today's workout. Wednesdays are space to reflect, replenish, reset, and it's just goals to get out on my legs in a good, encouraging way. Like, we ran 6 miles on Monday. We're doing a new strength or lifting protocol through ATG from the knees over toe guy. So we're learning new ways to stretch and strengthen our body. We need something in the middle of all that to kind of reset and recuperate. And I kind of like the pacing of walking and talking. I also like it because it's humble. It's not as fast, but it still provides value to me to get out and walk, and it can do the same for you. Even if your get out and walk is at 6